everybody, my name is Kerrie Hollifield. I'm the registered dietitian for Charleston County School District. And today I want to talk a little bit about added sugars, what they are, how they affect our bodies, how we find them within our foods, and then I also want to showcase you a fun recipe that you can do at home that has very little added sugars within it. So what are added sugars? Well, added sugars, as the name might suggest, is any kind of sugar or syrup that the manufacturing, the company, or yourself add to your foods at home. There are plenty of foods out there that have natural sugars in them, and that's what we want to focus on. So natural sugars are those occurring in such things as fruits, vegetables, whole grains, and white milk. So added sugars are those things that you might see if you add sugar to your cereal or sugar to your coffee. Manufacturers do these because, well, the sweeter it is, sometimes people think it tastes better. Also, texture of foods can be changed with different added sugars, but we want to watch for these because added sugars can really affect our bodies. They can cause weight gain, they can increase our chance for type 2 diabetes, they can increase our risk of heart disease, and they can cause tooth decay. So let's find out how we find added sugars within our foods. So now that we know all about added sugars and what they do to our body, we want to figure out how we find out if they're in our foods or not. So in front of you, you will see the nutrition facts label, and this is what gives you that power to know exactly what you're eating. So the first thing we want to pay attention to is the serving size. And what you'll see is that the serving size will tell you how much is in the container itself, and then also the portion that you are meant to be eating to give you that calorie amount and all those nutrients below. The thing that you have to think about is if you eat more than what the serving size suggests, you might have to double or even triple the amount of calories or nutrients that are within that label. The next thing you want to pay attention to is calories. Calories from food provide the energy your body needs to function and grow. But balancing the number of calories you eat and drink with the number of calories you burn during physical activity is also important. So just take these into consideration. Lastly, you want to use the percent daily value, which is the percentage of the daily value, the reference amounts of nutrients to consume or not to exceed each day for adults and children 4 years of age and older. So this actually shows you how much a nutrient in a serving of the foods contribute to your total daily diet. So what you want to look at specifically is the foods you want to get more of and the foods you want to get less of. So things you want to look at to get more of is such things as dietary fiber, your vitamin D, calcium, iron, and potassium, whereas you want to get less of those things like saturated fat, sodium, added sugars, and trans fat. A good tip is that 5% less is a low serving and 20% or higher is a high serving. So pay attention to these, and now that we know how to use a nutrition facts label, we're going to get into some sugar busting. First, it's important to know that the Dietary Guidelines of America, they say that we should eat less than 10% of our calories from added sugars. And also for this activity, we need to know that 1 sugar packet is 1 teaspoon, which is 4 grams of sugar, okay? So I have some common cereals, some drinks in front of me, and I want to look at the nutrition facts label, and I want us to see how many of these sugar packets are within each item. All right, so this first one I have is Cinnamon Toast Crunch. And from reading the nutrition facts panel, first I paid attention to my serving size. It says 1 cup, and it says that has 12 grams of added sugar. So you'll do 12 divided by 4, and you'll see that that's 3 sugar packets. So this would be equivalent of you taking something completely plain, like plain oatmeal, plain, maybe just plain Cheerios, and then pouring 3 packets of sugar on them. All right, next up, we have some Oreos. So first I'm going to pay attention to my serving size, and it says 2 cookies is 13 grams of added sugar. How many do you think that is? How many packets? So do 13 divided by 4, and you'll get approximately 3 sugar packets. Now keep in mind, that's just for 2 cookies. So if you eat 4 cookies, you're gonna have to double that. Next up, we have sports drinks. Sports drinks, energy drinks, these things can be loaded with added sugars. So this one in particular says that it has, for this whole bottle, 55 grams of added sugar. How many sugar packets do you think that'll be? 55 divided by 4. 14 sugar packets. All right, up next is Mountain Dew. Now, sugary beverages are the #1 reason for our intake of added sugars here, okay? So I'm looking at my Mountain Dew. It says that this one bottle is 77 grams of added sugar. 77 divided by 4. 19 teaspoons of sugar within that drink. All right, next I have this box of muffins, and I wanted to show this to you because a lot of times manufacturers, they will put kind of labels on their boxes or put pictures that might seem like they're healthy to us. But that is why you have to use what you just learned and read for yourself the nutrition facts panel to see what is healthy for our bodies. So this in particular says that 2 muffins is 30 grams of added sugar. So 30 divided by 4, we have 8 teaspoons of added sugar within 2 muffins. So another thing that will be important too is, now that you know how to use the nutrition facts label, is also look at your ingredient list. And your ingredient list can also tell you if added sugars are within your foods. Added sugars don't just say sugar. It might say cane sugar, it could say honey, it could say brown sugar, it could say high fructose corn syrup. There's all different names for added sugars. So definitely be on the lookout and be aware of what you're eating. Up next, we're gonna make a fun recipe. And this I've titled Summertime Split. So who loves banana splits? I know I sure do. But did you know that banana splits oftentimes have 74 grams of added sugar between the ice cream and maybe some chocolate syrup, maybe some candied cherries? Added sugars are within that everywhere. So now I'm going to show you how to make a healthier version of a banana split. So first off, I've already washed my hands. I'm putting on some gloves. I've already washed off all my ready-to-eat fruit, and we are ready to get started. So the best thing about this recipe is that there's really no cooking involved. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my plate. I'm gonna take a banana. And I'm just gonna peel my banana. And then I'm gonna take a knife, and we're always gonna be very careful with our knives. This is just a plastic knife, but if you're using a real knife at home, you always wanna be watchful of yourself and others. And I'm going to cut down the middle of my banana until I can kind of split it open. Awesome. So next, I want to show you 2 different options. So this is Greek yogurt. Greek yogurt has a lot more protein than the regular yogurt you see, and protein is going to be really good for building our muscles. But it also has 0 grams of added sugars. Why? It doesn't have any flavors added to it. It is just yogurt. That is the ingredients. Now, Greek yogurt can be a little bit tart for some people. So if you wanted to use another, like a flavored Greek yogurt, you could. I would suggest just mixing it in with your plain Greek yogurt to give it a little bit of flavor, because any kind of flavored yogurt will have added sugars in it. So for today, I'm just going to use my plain Greek yogurt. But flavored Greek yogurt is still a good option, but maybe try to mix it in with your plain. So this is really up to you on how much yogurt you like to put on yours. This is in place of the ice cream, guys. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my banana, and I'm just gonna fill the center up with yogurt. And I love yogurt. So I'm gonna do probably about a 1/4 cup to a 1/2 cup worth. Next, I'm going to cut some strawberries. And to cut these, I'm just going to take the tops of them off. I'm going to cut them down the center. And then I'm going to cut them again. So remember that fruit is natural sugar. So me putting this on my food, I'm not adding any added sugars to my food right now. I'm using all natural sugars within this fruit. Next, I have some blueberries. And you can use any kind of fruit you like. Blueberries and strawberries just so happen to be 2 of my favorites. So once again, blueberries are all natural sugar. So I can add as much of these as I would like to sweeten up my dessert. Okay, lastly, I'm gonna add a little bit of granola. So granola can be a little bit tricky. Oftentimes added sugars are hidden within our granola at the store. So I carefully looked, And this one, the added sugar I can see is coming from honey, and it's got 4 grams of added sugar for 1/4 cup. So I'm just doing a very light sprinkle. But when compared to my banana split that has 74 grams of added sugar compared to just 4, I think it's a pretty good choice. So just gonna sprinkle a little bit of this on top. And voila, you have your summertime split. Thank you so much for joining me today to talk all about added sugars. Now that you know how you have the power to find out what's in your foods, be sure to be looking at labels when you go to the grocery store and even at home. Make sure to try this recipe at home as well and let your teachers know when you make it. Thank you.